Episode 201, Study Session 6, Basic Social Casework Skills in Family Child Welfare and Medical Health Settings. Introduction. It is absolutely clear that social workers need to have at least basic social casework skills for effective practice. Exactly what is required depends upon the setting where the social worker is employed. For example, social workers in health settings need more skills different from social workers in group work or community work settings. This study session will focus on the basic social casework skills. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to state the basic social casework skills. The basic social casework skills needed in family, child welfare, and medical health services. These basic skills include 1. Attention given, active listening, non-critical acceptance. A listener to attend to the speaker, that is, the position of the listener, social worker, indicates to the speaker that the speaker or client is the center of the listener's, that is, the social worker's, attention. These skills have to do with those behaviors that include eye contact, body position, giving the client your ear, so to speak, encouraging comments from the listener, that is, the social worker, mirroring body positions. You will be amazed at how much mirroring behavior happens in a session when you get it right. Since most communication occurs non-verbally, the listeners, that is the social workers, non-verbal behaviors are critical in the establishment of trust and safety for the speaker, who may be revealing personal secrets never before revealed. The social worker, as a listener, needs to set in his or her mind an intervention to create and sustain attention. Sometimes, the social worker's attention may drift. He or she needs to reset intentions and come back to the session. The client may be watching so intently and notice the social worker's attention shift. The social worker may cover himself by saying that something struck him or her in the client's comment and ask the client to repeat statement. They must capture the verbal and non-verbal communication of the client. They must pay attention to the use of words. This can point to a pattern of thinking. 2. Listening skill. Listening skill will involve paraphrasing, reflecting, summarizing and checking. Paraphrasing as a feedback to the client the essence of what has just been said. The social worker shortens and clarifies the client's comments. Paraphrasing includes 4 steps, and these includes: A. Listen and recall. Repeat the client's words in your head, and this does take attention and intention, and it is so important. B. Get clear on the content of the messages. Get the details down. C. Rephrase or repeat to the client an essential summary of details and feelings. And lastly, ask if you have heard the message accurately. This is done by using some of your own words plus the important main words of the client. Summarization are similar to paraphrases, but are used to clarify and distill what the client has said over a longer time span. Summarization may be used to begin or to end an interview, as a transition to a new topic, or to clarify complex issues. Most importantly, summarization helps both the client and social workers organize thinking about what is happening in the interview. 3. Empathic understanding, linking immediacy. Empathy in this sense simply means the ability of the social worker to the emotions he or she has observed in the client and to ask if such perceptions are right. When the social worker does this to the client, he creates a feeling in the client that he or she is being heard respectively. Oftentimes, The client just needs to be heard respectively. In other words, they may not need the social worker to solve the problem, but just to listen and to recognize their feelings. Discrete skills associated with empathy include listening and reflecting client feelings. That is, okay, here is what it sounds like so far. You are angry about your husband or wife. Did I hear you correctly? The social worker should know that all he or she is doing here is listening like a tape recorder, no interpretation, judgment or problem solving yet. He or she is hearing in a supportive and accepting way only. A. Challenging confronting work with defenses. Although all social case work skills are concerned with facilitating change, it is the confrontation of discrepancies that acts as a lever for the activation of human potential. Most clients come to an interview seeking some sort of movement or change in their lives. Yet at times, they may resist the social worker's efforts to help bring about the very transformation they seek. The social worker's task is to help clients move beyond their issues and problems to realize their full potentials as human beings. An understanding of confrontation is basic to helping clients restore their lives. Therefore, knowledge and skills in confrontation results in the following: increased ability to identify incongruity, discrepancies or mixed messages in behavior, thoughts, feelings or meanings. Ability to identify client change processes occurring during the interview and throughout the treatment period using confrontation or other skills. Ability to increase client talk with a view towards explanation or resolution of conflicts and discrepancies. And lastly, ability to utilize confrontation skills for conflict resolution. Confrontation is not going against the client, it is going with the client. B. Goal setting, problem solving, focusing techniques. This may also be called decisional counseling. The goal is to facilitate decision making. The simplest problem solving model is defining the problem, generating or brainstorming alternatives, and then deciding among the alternatives. And C. Knowledge about own and others' use of body language. The social worker must be skilled in the act of attending behavior to bring about communication to the client that he or she is interested in what the client is saying. This will increase the social worker's awareness of the client's pattern of attending. It will bring about some recourse when social work is lost or confused in the interview. Even the most advanced professional doesn't always know what is happening. When one doesn't know what to do, attend. Again, the social worker must be skilled in visual eye contact, vocal qualities, verbal tracking, and attentive and authentic body language. Particularly important are discrepancies in non-verbal behavior or patterns of movement. Desynchronization should be observed. Lack of harmony in movement is common among those who disagree markedly or even among those who have subtle conflicts that they may be aware of. There are also facial expressions. The borrowing furrow, lips may tighten or loosen, the client may smile at an inappropriate time. D. Avoidance of judging and moralistic response. The social worker needs skills in counseling, which includes an internal acknowledgement that the client is acceptable, and this acceptance is conveyed through non-judgmental, verbal and non-verbal behaviors. A skill of non-judgmental attitude in counseling is very important. The social worker listens to the clients without evaluating them and what the clients say as good or bad. The social worker simply tunes to hear and accept what clients are saying in their stories. However, as with all qualities and skills, there are times when your judgment may facilitate client exploration. There are no absolutes in counseling and interviewing. The social worker must cultivate skills to enable him or her stop and think of a client for a moment whose behavior troubles him or her personality. It may be someone, that is clients, who may be regarded as dishonest or a perpetrator of violence. These are challenging moments for the non-judgmental attitude. The social worker must regard the total person as non-judgmental, as change must often come from a basis of trust and honesty. E. Boundary awareness, structuring techniques, the ability to say different things constructively. Social workers must acquire skills that will enable them to be aware of what is happening with their clients, as well as learning what occurs in their relationships with others and in their families and communities. There is a need to balance internal and external responsibility for issues. Social workers requires a skill which is improved upon steadily with the passage of time, to say difficult things constructively without sublimating. This skill does not come magically. It is built and matured slowly and steadily. And finally, the ability to offer feedback techniques for diffusing, avoiding, the creation of, and managing hostility. The social worker needs skills to require and isolate internal conflicts in the client, as well as external conflicts. Discrepancies internal to the client include mixed messages in non-verbal behavior, continuities in verbal statements, and what he or she does. Whereas external conflicts are discrepancies between clients and the external world. This is highlighting the situation in which the client finds themselves. Resistance can be an important dimension of incongruity between the social worker and the client. This happens quite often. The clients will generally want to defend themselves. The social worker must see client resistance as an opportunity, not as a problem. The social worker must also develop counseling skills of encouragement to communicate to clients that change is very available and possible, but not predictable. Social work counseling techniques. Every social worker uses techniques that are favorable to his or her personality. Generally, all social workers are trained in a few key skills. These are primarily relational skills, vital for helping clients achieve the goals they set with the social worker. Techniques vary depending on the application. A social worker may use different methods with an individual client or group than in the process of community organizing. Study session summary. In this study session, we discuss that every social worker needs to have at least basic social casework skills for effective practice. Even then, these basic social casework skills must be relevant to practice setting. The basic skills needed generally for practice include active listening skills, paraphrasing reflecting back skills, emphatic understanding skill, challenging confronting skill, goal setting problem solving skill, and knowledge about body language skill. Other basic skills include non-judgmental skill, boundary awareness skill, and feedback techniques skills. End of study session 6. Thank you for listening.